Hey folks, it's Ben. I'm here with another maintenance video. We're here with our 2007 Chevy Uplander. I think in every video I've shot for this thing, I've got the wrong year. It's either 2008 or 2006, but I just plugged my scan tool and it's like, yeah, what do you want to do with your 2007 Chevy? I'm like, So I look at the owner's manual and yeah, okay, sure. 2007 it is. We're going to be doing a transmission service today. This car has got about 110,000 miles on it, so we'll probably need to change that transmission fluid since that's the service interval for it. It's a pan right there. It's going to be a 4T65, I think, or 60, either way. It's the same filter because it's got the 3.9 liter V6. To do that, you need obviously an Uplander to do it on. And then over here, we have our Napa kit. This is our filter, which technically works on both. It's a 4T60, but a 4T65 takes the same filter, so we're cool there. Comes with a cork gasket, which we won't need, because this one should have a reusable one, just like my Grand Prix. And you have this little ring up here. In the event that our ring is damaged, this is what the filter neck goes into, then you can pry it out and put a new one in. But if yours is fine, which I'm hoping ours is, you don't have to use it. And that's worth not putting in. It is a bear to get out. So if it seals up nice on the filter, winning. So we got that. According to the internet, it takes approximately 7 liters of, we're talking a Dextron 6. Yes, Dextron 6, I believe. Yeah, Dextron 6. So I got 7. There's 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, I have 8 here. Got it on sale, so no harm done there. So that's what we'll need. So ultimately, changing the transmission fluid and filter is pretty easy. Let's go under the car. Let me highlight what we're going to do under the car here. Number one, the car is all nice and warm. The transmission's all been run. We went about 10 miles or so, so we've got a warm transmission. I've got it up on block, so we're safe and I have some space to work on. We're in 10 millimeter land here, so all these little bolts are 10 millimeters. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do, and then we'll just run it along. We're going to loosen all the bolts, break them so that they're all loose, so we don't have any problems. Then we're going to leave about 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, because this thing's full of liquid beyond the lid. So I want to drain all that off towards the back, because that's the direction the car is facing anyway. Get most of that liquid out of the pan as much as I can. So I'll take a bunch out, except for the 4. Then I'll loosen them up so I can get it to drain out. I may have to do a little prying, but I want to be careful because that's a reusable gasket up there. They work really well. They don't look it when you take them out, but actually if you clean them up, put them back in, they don't leak. So perfect, right? If we do wreck it, we do have the cork one that came with our kit, but it's not the most ideal gasket to use. So with that, let's get to work. The tea leaf reading portion of the transmission change is to see what is in the pan. How good is our transmission doing? Now it drives just fine. We're doing this as preventative maintenance. That being said, what the hell is this? I've never seen sheared material in the pan before. It's obviously not magnetic because it doesn't stick to the magnet, so it's aluminum. I'm wondering if they might be shavings from the initial install. But that being said, there are shavings in the transmission. That's not cool. But they may have been there since the beginning, we don't know. But with no apparent issues in the transmission, it's still not cool news. So we'll need to definitely keep an eye out on that. So that means that this machine should probably get a change another 10,000 miles and see if there's more, because we'll clean this pan completely before we do it. But I've done a lot of transmissions and I don't think I've gotten shavings before. That being said, I've always owned used cars that have been changed before, and with a 100,000 mile service interval, this is probably the first time this has ever been changed. So maybe it is part of the new car thing. Anywho, there's shavings in there. That's not cool. Look at our magnet. There's not much residual clutch material in here. It's all pretty good, typical dusty stuff. And the magnet itself, for 100,000 miles, is actually pretty good. I'm actually quite happy with that. So it's showing that there's not a lot of wear and tear on this transmission. Maybe that's the Dextron 6 kicking butt. I don't know. So those are not good. Everything else seems fine. And like I said, the transmission's shifting fine. So that could have been an install thing. So our next step, and I probably won't film this part, is you need to clean the thing. So I'll get some cleaner. We'll clean the gasket, which is reusable and clear. It does not appear to be damaged, so we're good there. We'll clean it. We'll clean the pan. We'll clean the lip. And I'll show you me taking out the filter. You want to go like snap, like I didn't do that edit, cool. But okay, so our pan's clean. I just used a little carburetor cleaner on the harder deposits on the outside, mostly just simple green, and make everything nice and dry, clear, dust free. We'll redust it before we stick it under the car. The gasket, I'm mostly worried about the outside and dirt and things like that, making sure that the rubber tops here are all nice and soft and good to go. And there's no damage on it either. The magnet's been clean, and underline, highlight, put parentheses around, put the magnet back. You take it out, you wash it, you set it aside, you finish washing the pan, don't forget to put the magnet back. I think I did a rear end differential once where I forgot to put the magnet back. So you have to take it all out, put it in, and it catches a lot of stuff that filter doesn't have to. So it's good to have in there. So the pan's good. Let's pull that filter out. Mr. Wigglesworth is what we'll call this guy. Find the best way to get these out is just to slowly wiggle them back and forth until they kind of pop out. Come on, you. Come on. Come on. Come on, there you go. Now I mentioned that seal. It's where this nozzle goes into. And I'm going to feel it and make sure I didn't scratch it up or anything. And it is nice. And still quite rubbery, actually. It wants to eat my finger. So that's cool. We can leave it. But if you tear it or there's a rip or a ridge or anything, then you got to rip it out. And there's a pick tool is great. You just get in behind it and rip it down. And you can get it out. But this one came out fine. And so we're going to go get the new one and go put it in. This next part's always the hardest part for me. I'm going to take a finger dip here and wipe this. Even though it's old transmission fluid, remember there's still a couple quarts of old stuff in the transmission. We're not saving anything here. It's getting this thing in all the way. It seems to be always a bear. I'm going to move my oil thing up a little more. And it's the same wiggle route, but you just gotta push. Because it wants to be on the bottom of the pan, but yeah, it never, like, you think, oh, that's good. No, it's not good. It's got to go way up in there. And I just can never get it to get in there right. Pop. Well, that was awesome. Okay, so that's cool. It's got little feet that probably sit on the bottom of the pan too. And this part here, if it's not high enough, those bolts will suck it up. So the last thing I have left to do is there's a ridge of dirt around this thing. So I'm going to clean that off, get a little plastic scratchy thing, get the dirt off so our surface is nice and clean, wipe this down, and then we're going to install. I'm pretty pleased with that. It's not the best, but it's good enough, and that's what I aim for mostly. You could spend all day on that, but I do need to get going, so let's put the pan up now.
with all the bolts started by hand, and that's important because your transmission is actually aluminum, so you don't want to cross thread anything. So get them all started by hand. Now I'm just going to go around and snug them all up so the pan's nice against the transmission casing, and then I'm going to just go ahead and torque them. Not a lot of torque on these because you don't want to crush your gasket, but you do want to make a seal. But I'll do the opposite like a wheel, just kind of nothing official, just the way you do it type of thing. So you can watch while I do that.
I'm using Valvoline Max Life. It's ATF fluid. On the back it says it'll fit about every car in the world, but long story short, Dextron 2, 3, and 6. So 6 is what we're after. So let's put, I'm gonna put 6 liters in. It says about 7, so we'll do 6 and we can start it, get it off the ramps, get it level, and then we can take a measurement for it. So we'll start with the 6. So here goes 5. Well, that is right in the middle of the crosshatch, I think. God, I hate new fluids. Sometimes it's so hard to tell. The crosshatch. Yeah. It's dirty, it's easy to see, right? Okay, so that is, oops, going in the engine. That is dry. Nice, dusty. And that is not showing up. Can't quite tell. So there it could be. We'll drive it up to the front of the yard and let it idle for a little bit. Thanks for watching. Leave any questions or comments down below. And be sure to subscribe to my channel for awesome updates on what I'm doing. Please check out the next video I've got lined up for you. And also check out my Patreon page if you want to support what we're doing here. And finally, check out my other less tractory page, Red Barn Homestead. You can subscribe to that too. See some awesome stuff. And we'll see you next time.